Hey ambitious professionals, it's Linda Rayner of lindarainer.com, guiding you to a career and life you'll truly enjoy. So you might have been wondering where I've been the last little while if you've been following me closely, and today's video is going to be a Q&A/update video. I want to give you a little bit of a glimpse into what's been going on with me, and I also asked you to ask me some questions over on Instagram as well as over email, and I got a ton. So today's video is just going to be all about answering your questions, giving you a glimpse into my life, and just having a nice, short, quick personal chat with you. So let's get into it. So I noticed when I was going through the questions that a lot of you guys are very interested, or seem to be very interested, in how I became a career coach, a career strategist, and how essentially I started my own business. And this is interesting to me because it seems as though you might be in a certain mind space right now where you're thinking about starting your own business. So I am very happy to share my story and my tips and advice. So I'm going to be answering some of those questions today, and I'm also going to be answering some other fun questions that you asked me as well. Okay, so first, I just want to give you an update as to what's been going on with me. If you follow me over on Instagram, you will know that this past summer, I recently gave birth to my very first baby, a happy and healthy baby boy. He is very cute and he's been keeping me very busy. So needless to say, I haven't had the opportunity to post new videos, but now that he's a little bit older, I've been able to get back into it. And so this is why I'm doing this with you now. He is currently napping, but if I get the chance to bring him in, I will. So hopefully you'll see him later on in this video. Recently, over social media, I decided to put it out there and have you guys ask me any questions that you want to know about me. And I've never really done this type of video before, but I thought, why not? I thought it would be fun. And I actually got a lot of interesting questions about me that I don't think I've shared too much information about in the past. So I am going to just dive right in and go into some of the most common questions that you asked me. Now, one of the most common questions I got asked was, how did I get into the work that I currently do today? There are other questions that were very similar. How did I get started with my business? What made me move from corporate to becoming my own boss, becoming an entrepreneur? And so I definitely want to share my story with you. I do already have a video on that, if you are curious, that goes into a lot of depth. And that video is called, Who Am I? Who's Linda Rayner and what do I do? So if you want to check that video, I'll link it in the description box down below. But just in a nutshell, the way that I started my business actually spurred from when I was a corporate recruiter. So if you know my background, I actually started off my career as an accountant, as a CPA, and I was working as an auditor for one of the big four accounting firms. I did not enjoy my work when I was an auditor. I did not enjoy the accounting world. I just realized when I was in that field that that wasn't what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So I knew that I had to switch and I had to make a move. As soon as I got my CPA designation, I wanted to switch over and do something else. And that's exactly what I did. Right after I got my CPA designation, I applied for jobs and I became a recruiter. So completely different, complete 180 from what I was doing before. But as a CPA, I was simply someone that was going into companies, looking at their books, looking at their accounts, and doing that sort of work. As a recruiter, I was actually helping those people, those auditors, those CPAs, but I was also helping a whole bunch of other types of individuals, anywhere from low-level analysts all the way up to C-suite level executives. I was helping them find their next career move. I worked as a corporate recruiter for 3.5 years. I was able to place over 200 something professionals into permanent job opportunities within the city of Toronto. And it was great. I loved it. I was a rock star, honestly, as a recruiter. I did really well. I was recognized for being able to find good job candidates, but also being able to help them land the job offers. I was really good at helping people figure out what they needed to say in the interviews, helping people to refine their resumes to make them look good for the hiring managers. I also talked directly to hiring managers, so I knew exactly what they wanted. And so with all that experience, I got to a point that I was kind of tired of the 9 to 5 going into an office. I was working in a big office tower downtown, and I was just tired of that life. I wanted to no longer work for anyone else, and I wanted to instead work for myself. And so that was when I decided that I wanted to figure out what would my next business be. And I knew as a recruiter that I was starting to spot certain gaps with people in general. I was noticing that there were a lot of people who were really good at the work that they did, but they were not good at selling themselves. They were not good at interviews. They were not good with writing their resumes. And if only I could just sit down with them, show them exactly what they needed to do, they could completely change their trajectory and they could get more job offers than they were getting before. And I was doing that while I was a recruiter, but obviously I was limited. I had to find the best of the best. I couldn't sit down with every single person. Mind you, when I was a recruiter, I was talking to thousands of people. Thousands of people. People would email me their resumes, they would call me, they would meet with me in person, I would meet with them. So I was bombarded with all kinds of people from all different walks of life reaching out to me and wanting me to help them to find a job offer. So I couldn't sit down with every single person and help them. As much as I wanted to, I couldn't. And so I realized that my business that I would want to do would be to be what I do now, which is a career strategist, a career coach, where I would help professionals to figure out exactly what they needed to write on their resumes, what they needed to say in the interviews in order to land the job offers. And honestly, since then, it's been over 4 years now that I started my business. I have helped, I can proudly say, thousands of people land job offers through the work that I do, through my online courses, top-notch interview, top-notch resume, and through my coaching programs. So I'm really proud of where I've come from. It's a long journey to getting here, but that's basically how I got into what I do today. And again, if you want to find out a little bit more about my childhood and all of that, I share that in my video that I'm linking down in the description box, so you can check that out. The next question is, what made you decide to start your own business? So for me personally, what made me decide to start my own business was that I have a very specific personality where I am not one who enjoys working for someone else. I just didn't enjoy it. After a while, of course, I needed the experience that I got as a recruiter, but after a while, I realized that I wanted to be my own boss. I wanted to work for myself. I wanted to work my own hours, and I wanted that freedom and flexibility. So that's what made me want to start my own business. I knew that the only way that I could get what I want and achieve the lifestyle that I wanted was to become an entrepreneur, was to offer my services on my own directly to the people that I wanted to work with, rather than working within a company and working for a boss or a manager. I no longer wanted that lifestyle. I wanted more freedom and flexibility. So that was really what enticed me to start my own business, and I have not regretted that decision since. The next question that I got was, what did you study or prepare in order to become a career strategist, career coach? And the truth here is that I didn't do any formal training. I didn't do any formal studying when it came to learning how to be a career strategist. This all came from my own hands-on experience. I personally think that the best teachers and the best coaches are people who have been in the trenches. They've actually experienced the world hands-on, full-on, and then they can take the knowledge that they've gained and they can share that with their students later. And I am someone who I feel has walked that path. I was a recruiter. I worked with thousands of individuals. I worked with many hiring managers. I knew and learned exactly what it was that was allowing people to become successful in getting job offers. I knew what hiring managers were looking for, and I knew what individuals, job candidates, were lacking. So I knew what needed to be done to help people to shift themselves, change themselves to get the careers they wanted. And that's the experience and knowledge that I was able to gain. There was no formal training, there was no studying in that sense. It all came from my own in-person, real-life experience. Someone else asked me, what was it like to transition from the corporate world into starting your own business, and what advice would I give? So it seems as though a lot of you guys are interested in potentially starting your own work, your own business, and that's completely understandable considering the climate that we're in right now, where most of us are working from home, and perhaps we feel that there is opportunity and you feel that there's opportunity for you to start your own business. And I completely understand that, and I want to support you in that. So in terms of advice that I would give, the biggest advice I would say is really be clear on what your talent is. What are you able to do that can help to serve, heal, help, assist someone else, whether it's in the form of a service, such as coaching, or in the form of a product. Okay, so you really want to figure out, what is my talent? What is my gift? What am I really good at that I know for sure I can do really well, and that will actually help, assist, heal, serve someone. Okay, so you want the whole goal is that your talent is going to help someone else, either through the form of a service or through the form of a product. So if you can sit down and ask yourself that, that's going to help you the most when it comes to first initially taking those steps to starting your business. Another question I got was, what has inspired you to create your own YouTube channel, and what has kept you going? So for me, YouTube was something that I knew right off the bat I wanted to incorporate into my business. And the reason for that was, again, it goes back to knowing your talents, knowing what you're capable of. I knew that I have the ability to communicate. I knew that I have the ability to teach and share my knowledge in a way where if I'm looking at a camera, if I'm speaking, that can be best absorbed by my audience. And so I knew that YouTube, hands down, was the way. I did do some blogging before I started going on YouTube, and those articles that I had written, they were on LinkedIn. They're still on LinkedIn if you want to check them out. Those articles were actually quite well received, but I found that beyond writing, I wanted to show my face. I wanted to put myself out there even more, and I'm so happy I did, because this is where we are now. So that's what got me into starting into YouTube. And then when it comes to what keeps me going, it really is you guys. You guys are always so interactive with me, asking me questions and keeping me on my toes in terms of wanting to find more information from me, things that you want to learn. So I'm always wanting to share, and that is what keeps me going in terms of posting my videos onto YouTube. Next question I got was, are you single or are you in a relationship? And as you heard from the beginning of this video, I do have a baby boy. I am in a relationship. I am married. I've been married for over 5 years now to my husband. And yeah, I've been married the whole time that you've followed me on Instagram, on YouTube. So that's my relationship status. The next question I got was, what is my self-care routine? What is my wellness routine to help me to stay calm and positive throughout the day? So obviously it's easy to portray a very calm and positive state of being when I'm on camera. I'm not always this way, but I do keep myself in check, and I do try to make sure that I am very aware of my emotions. So if I'm ever stressed out, if I'm not feeling good, if I'm feeling anxious or tense, I check in with myself and I make sure that I start to do and incorporate those activities that help me to stay calm right away. So that includes journaling. I am a huge advocate for journaling. I've mentioned it before in other videos, but journaling for me helps me to get out all of the emotions that I'm feeling inside, all the thoughts that are whirling around in my head, and I get them down on paper and I end up feeling so much better. So journaling and just writing pages on pages of my thoughts and my feelings really helps. I also meditate. I also exercise. I try to do those things as often as I can, but with a new baby, it is a little bit tougher. And on top of that, I really just try to relax. I try to take it easy. So if I'm not feeling it, if I'm not feeling like working a certain day or doing a certain errand, I don't do it. I just won't do it, and I'd rather sit and do nothing for a little bit to get myself into a state of neutrality, to just calm myself down, than to go ahead and do the thing that I wanted to do. Because sometimes putting more effort and energy into doing can backfire, because then you end up feeling burnt out, you end up feeling tired at the end of the day, and you end up feeling anxious for the other things that you also want to do, rather than just giving yourself that break to stop and say, I'm not going to do it, and I'm going to relax and get up when I feel like doing it. And honestly, that I would say is the key for me to staying as positive as I can. And also it helps me with getting me new ideas for what I want to do creatively for my business, but also to help with my clients. I'm able to just think a lot more clearly when I give myself that break, that time to do absolutely nothing. So if you want to ask for my advice for how to stay calm and positive, if you're doing too much, I tell you stop and do nothing for a little while. And then when you feel calm, you feel more relaxed, you feel more like yourself, then you can get back into it. Another question that I got was, how has motherhood been treating me? So before I gave birth, I talked to friends who had kids, and some of them scared me. Some of them told me that motherhood is really going to take you off course, and you're going to be in for a huge surprise, and you're going to have bricks thrown at you, basically. I don't know. It sounded scary. But I'll be completely honest, I feel like I was completely prepared for this journey of being a mother. For my husband and I, we had been prepared from the get-go. We knew we wanted a child, we knew what we were in for, and we did our research. And to be honest, I grew up with a lot of kids in my family. I had a lot of younger cousins that I helped to take care of when I was growing up. So for me, being around babies was not unfamiliar. I was very familiar with taking care of children. And as soon as my son came out, from day one, as hard as it was taking care of a newborn and the sleepless nights and things like that, honestly, it turned out exactly, I think, as how I had imagined it. If I look at it from a big picture perspective, I don't think that it is as overwhelming as some people make it out to be. I think, especially now that he's a little bit older, he's 3 months now, it feels a lot more natural, and we've gotten into a routine. It was obviously difficult that first month, but I think that's with anyone who has a new child. It's difficult, it's a transition, but overall it didn't create trauma within me at all, the way that some people have experienced it. I'm not traumatized, is what I'm trying to say. So motherhood has been treating me well. Next question I got was, what advice can you give to career-oriented professionals looking to start a family? So I can say this from personal experience. If you are someone who is very ambitious, who knows that you want to have a great, happy, fulfilling career, but you know that you also want to have a family, I definitely say prioritize what's most important to you first. So if it's to have a family that's most important to you, then go ahead, prioritize having the family, especially if time isn't on your side, or at least you think so. Then go ahead and have your family and then focus on your career. But if you do have some time, then focus on your career. Do whatever you feel is right, but prioritize one first. Because the thing is that I think it's possible to balance both. I do, but I do feel that for me, having had a strong career first was very beneficial, because I felt secure. I felt safe that if I was to start a family, that I would be able to take care of my son and take care of whatever I needed to take care of from a financial perspective, without having to worry and have that insecurity about whether I was going to be able to make money, or if I needed to look for a job. I didn't have to focus on that. And so I would say focus on one thing at a time. If you really want to have that baby, but just make sure that you're going to be able to cover whatever expenses you need to cover and that you're going to have that time available to your baby. But if not, then focus on your career. Do what you need to do to build yourself a strong career. And this is coming from someone, I'm female, I'm a woman, and there are those perceptions out there that if you wait too long, or if you end up having a baby and then you end up going on maternity leave, that stunts your growth with your career. Honestly, I don't really believe that. I do feel that if you start off strong with your career, you can still continue strong. There is no reason why you can't continue your career after a baby. So focus on what feels most important to you first. But if it comes from me, I would say if you're at an age where you can still focus on your career without baby, then focus on that. And then once you're ready, have your baby, and then continue your career after that. That's it. Now, this next question is a really juicy one, and this person asked me, what was the hardest moment in my life so far? When I think about the hardest time in my life, it actually happened right after I graduated from university, and I was starting off my career as an accountant, as a CPA, and I was not enjoying the work that I was doing. I felt so stuck because up until that point, I had this perception, especially coming from an immigrant family, Asian, I had this idea that as soon as you graduate university and you have your first full-time professional job, you're set for life. That is the path that you're going to be on, and that's how you're going to continue your life. And it was so naive of me to think like that, but I was young and I didn't know any better, and I thought that was it. That was all I had available to me, was this job, and I just had to continue my life that way. And I was so unhappy. I felt so stuck. I felt like I was in prison, going to work every day, and I was working long hours too. During busy season in those types of jobs, you're working past midnight at times. And I remember one time I got off at 10 p.m. and I was so excited. I thought, wow, 10 p.m. I got off so early tonight. But really, you think about that, that's crazy. Anyways, I digress. So that was a really tough time, was when I was working as an accountant and I was working long hours and I wasn't happy and I didn't know what I wanted to do with my career. I didn't know what my purpose was. I didn't know what I really could achieve. And I realize now, looking back, that time of hardship, of being depressed and anxious and insecure and having very, very low confidence in myself was very necessary for me, because it has brought me to a point now where I can look back on that and I can fully understand anyone who currently feels that way. So if that's you, for example, where you're feeling stuck in your career, you're feeling like you don't know what you're meant to do, you're not sure of where it is that you want to go, I get you. I know where you're coming from. That was me. I was there not too long ago, and I got out of that. And I was able to figure out what it is that I love to do and what I'm able to do, and my talents and gifts, and I'm able to share that with the world. So that was a tough time, but it was a very necessary time, if that makes sense. And so if you're going through something similar, just know that you'll get through it. You'll move beyond it. Just really ask yourself some hard questions and you'll be able to move past it. The next question I got was, Linda, how did you get this amazing confidence? Well, thank you if you think that I am amazingly confident. But I'll be honest with you, I was not always this way. I was not always someone who felt confident in myself and my abilities. That is something that I realized and grew more of over time. There was a point in my life where I looked at myself and I had no confidence in myself whatsoever. I thought I was not very smart. I thought I wasn't very capable. I thought that other people around me were smarter than me, better than me, all those things, and it wasn't a good feeling to feel that way. But the way how I was able to get out of that and to really grow in my level of confidence within myself was having gone through the hardships that I went through. I had to hit bump after bump, obstacle after obstacle in my career, where I was realizing that I was not good at the work that I did. I was not well respected because I didn't do a good job. I was not a good accountant, is what I'm trying to say. I didn't know where I was going with my life and my career, and I really just had to endure those times of low confidence. I had to hit rock bottom, as much as rock bottom as I could have, before I realized, hey, I'm capable of so much more. And it was only until I started listening to myself and I started asking myself, well, what am I capable of? What can I do? What looks and sounds and feels good to me if I could change the trajectory of my life, if I could change my career path, what would that look like? How would that feel? What do I want? And until I started asking those questions and then answering those questions and then taking actions based on the answers that I got, that was when confidence started to show up. Once I decided that I wanted to switch out of accounting and I wanted to become a recruiter, and I realized that I was really good at recruiting and I was really good at working with people and helping people, once I realized how good I was at that, my confidence started to increase. And then once I realized, hey, I could help lots of people. I don't need to just help one person. I can help many people at the same time. Once I realized I could do that, my confidence increased even more. So confidence comes with experience. Confidence comes with you asking yourself hard questions, and comes with listening to your intuition. Okay, so I know I've been going on and on with these questions. I have 2 more questions that I'm going to answer. The next question is the content in your channel your real experience, or is it based on research? I can tell you right now that the content on my channel is mostly, I'd say like 95% of it is based on my own experience. Having worked with thousands of job candidates, thousands of professionals, helping hundreds of people land job offers, I was able to gain a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, and everything that I'm sharing with you on my YouTube channel comes from that. It's not some theoretical thing that I read out of a book. I have not read, honestly, any books about interviewing. I've not read any books about resumes. I don't follow anybody else's advice but my own, because I know what works based on my own experience. And my students that have followed my programs, my coaching programs and my online courses can attest to that, because my knowledge that I share, my tips that I share are specific and they're unique. They're different from what other people share. And that's just because I'm sharing it based on what I know, what I've seen. And if it sounds like someone else's, well, then maybe they've had the same experience too. But I'm not researching it, I'm not Googling it, I'm not reading up on it in order to share that with you on my channel. Everything comes 95% from me. The 5%, there are times where I have to look into something, if it's a new term or if it's something that's new out there in the marketplace, then of course I'll look into it, I'll research it. If it's a statistic, this and that I want to share, of course I'll share that with you. But otherwise, most of the content that you see is directly coming from me. And the last question that I received was, if you were to give one piece of career advice to your ambitious professionals, what would it be? So if you're looking for one piece of advice, career advice from me, I would say listen to your intuition. Listen to your inner guidance. Follow that voice that's coming from deep within you as to what direction you want to go into. This is so important. This is what I did. The reason why it works is because I know it works, because I did it myself. When I was unhappy in my job as an accountant, I knew that I needed to figure out what I wanted to do to be happier, and no one could give me that answer. If I went around and asked my parents or friends or whoever, they would not know. No one would know. The only person that knows what you're capable of is you. And that's why it's so important for you to ask yourself, what do I want? Where do I want to go? Where do I see myself? And if there are things that are blocking you, stopping you from moving forward, you need to identify those blocks. You need to overcome those blocks. So if there's a sense of fear, a sense of insecurity, a sense of low confidence in you, you need to address that. You need to understand why you feel that way, and you need to clear that out and move yourself forward. And so, yeah, listening to your intuition. And when I say listen to your intuition, I mean asking yourself what you want, but then also knowing from deep within what you're good at. What is your talent? What is your gift? What are you here to do? What is your purpose? really honing in on that and constantly focusing on that. The more that you focus on asking yourself that question, the more that you journal, the more that you start to get signs and you start to notice that the answer to that will come to you. Okay? So if you can just focus in on yourself, block out the noise from the rest of the world, and listen to your own inner voice, your own inner guidance, and ask yourself those harder questions as to what you want, you will have the career that you'll dream of. Okay? And if you don't know what that looks like, you will know. It will unfold for you. So you just have to tap into yourself and then from there move forward. Woo! Okay, that was a very, very intense, longer than I hoped it would be. I'm sorry if it was too long, but hopefully it answers all of your questions that you wanted to know about me. I'm so happy to be in front of the camera again and to be sharing tips and advice and knowledge with you and share whatever it is that you want to know about me as well as about careers and moving forward with your life. So I'm going to continue to do that moving forward. If you have any topics that you're curious about and want me to create videos on, definitely share that with me in the comments down below. Otherwise, I will see you again. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel and give it a like. Share this video with your friends as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. And as I promised, if he was awake, I would bring him in on camera, and here he is. This is my baby boy. He is 3 months old, and yeah, why don't you say hi? So, this is what's been keeping me busy. Say hi to everyone. Hi, ambitious professionals.